So, you want to record an album. You've got some songs written. You've got a studio. Maybe it's your basement. Maybe it's your spare bedroom. Maybe it's a freestanding studio like this one. You've written most of the songs yourself. Maybe you've recorded most of them yourself. And you're ready to send it off into the world. What's it going to cost you? My third album, Sadistic Geography, had 9 tracks, 37 minutes. I will leave a link to Bandcamp in the description so you can go listen to it. Or you can listen on the streaming services. If you haven't listened to it, why not? Go listen to it. Let me know what you think. However, today, we're not here to talk about making the album. My next video about the album, I'll talk a little bit about what I used to make the album, why I used it. I did buy a few pieces of equipment specifically for the album. We'll talk about it. But today, we're going to talk about money. What's it going to cost you to send that thing out into the world? As I said, 9 tracks, 37 minutes, professionally mixed and mastered. Where did I go from there? Well, as I said in the last video, not everything I did I recorded myself. The drums, I didn't have the ability to really record the kind of rock drums I wanted to. Piano, saxophone, some vocals. And so I went out to hire some studio musicians to help me. I got them, by the way, on Fiverr. This isn't an ad for Fiverr. They don't support me. But they've worked for me. They've worked for me. You have to do your research. You have to have conversations with them. There's a bit of back and forth. But once you find those people, you can always use them. You can use them for every single album you do when you need what they do. So for me, it's worked. What did I use? I used drums. So let's talk about the drums. I had drums on 4 tracks. And those 4 tracks of drums cost me about $810, give or take. About a couple $100 a track, maybe $210 if I think about it. Totally worth it, because when you get professionally recorded drums back, what happens is that you get all the stems. So you get the overheads, the tom, the kick, the hi-hat, the whole bit is all broken down, and so your mixing engineer, if you're using one, has a great deal of flexibility with how to set all that in the mix. So very, very, very handy. I also had saxophone on 2 tracks, although one is pretty far buried and it's hard to find. But the track on Homecoming, the saxophone truly, truly makes the song. And he did a tremendous job, and believe it or not, he did it in 1 take. And I work with these guys and ladies to understand what I'm trying to get, and the clearer you are, the better chance you have of getting what you want. Piano. I had piano on 1 track, In the Hands of Fate, and again, that piano totally makes that track. Luca did a great job, and it cost me $113, give or take. What a deal. The saxophone, about $90 a track. Last, vocals. I always knew that I needed a female vocalist to do the response on the call-in response in Belief. And so I found somebody, again on Fiverr, who she had the right soprano voice, and I asked her to sing 1 line twice, 3 times through. What does that mean? That means that she recorded it twice, and then she recorded that 3 times so that I had 3 different takes of those two lines so that the engineer could sort of blend them together into a bit of a chorus, which is what I was looking for. So all of that, all the studio musician part of the album was about $1,300. So $1,300 to have other people help me. Then there's mixing and mastering. And you can have things mixed and mastered online. You can have it done by yourself. You can go to Fiverr. You know, there's a lot of options for mixing and mastering for that matter. But I like to go someplace where I know the people, that we can sit down and have a chat, that we've worked together, that we build up a relationship. And so I have Ian Schreier, Ian, has done my last 3 albums, really happy with his work. And for 9 tracks, it was a little over $4,000. Now, $4,000 might sound like a lot of money to you until you think of what an hour of studio time costs. Last, mastering. Again, you can have things mastered, you know, Isotope makes a whole mastering set. You can send it off to Fiverr, you can do it online. I like to go to a place where I can sit down and have a chat with the engineer. We can listen to the entire album together. We can have a certain back and forth. Very handy for me. Not everybody likes that. I like it. At least I've liked it so far. We'll see. And I go to the kitchen in Carrboro, and to have those 9 tracks mastered for CD, which is a little more expensive than for streaming, about $1,500. So, what does that mean? 9 tracks, 37 minutes, all the way out the door to the distributor. And I've been using DistroKid. You can use CD Baby, whoever you want. I just have used DistroKid. It was about $6,853 to make that album. Now there's a couple of other things. I had CDs printed. I went to a place called Bison CDs. I mean, there are a lot of them. The only reason I went to Bison was because they had InDesign templates, and I knew how to use InDesign, so I could use their templates to do the cover and the inside artwork and whatnot, and the CD label. But you can go to almost anybody. I think it was a little over $200 to have 25 CDs made. I really appreciated having CDs. I wish I'd had the previous 2 albums mastered for CDs. One day I may go back and have them remastered for CDs. I love having them. I don't actually have a CD player. I don't even have a stereo, really. I mean, if I want to listen to music, I can play it here in the recording studio. But it's just handy for me. You know, sometimes I'm out. I have a couple of copies with me, usually if I'm out and about sometimes, and somebody goes, "Oh yeah, I make music. Yeah, I record. You know, what kind of music you make?" Well, you can give them your streaming link, or you can hand them a CD. So, up to you. But I have found it fun and totally worth it. And also, the listening experience, the quality of a CD is always going to beat your streaming service for sure. There's 2 other things that I have spent money on for my recording effort, and I think you should think about this. And they're called trademarks. I have a trademark for Device Projects, and I have a trademark for my record company, Pocket Chicken Records. And I struggled making those trademarks. I did it myself. It was a challenge, but then the U.S. Trademark Authority stepped up to help me. And by the way, they are the friendliest people. I was really surprised how easy they were to work with, and they just were as as friendly as you could get for a governmental organization. And my trademark for Device Projects cost me about $1,675. You have to trademark a couple of different lines. And then my trademark for Pocket Chicken was $1,075. So you can see that, you know, if you're really interested in doing this seriously, it's not free. At least it hasn't been free for me. When I started trying to make records, trying to record, I tried to do it on the cheap, and I was never happy with the product. I mean, even my first album, I know how much better the third album is, having learned 3 albums through of how to make the product better. And I had to really sit down with myself and go, am I going to commit or am I going to submit? And I really wanted to commit to doing the best work possible. I wanted to make sure that when I was done and it went off into the world, that I didn't have to apologize to anybody. That it would sound great the day it went out, it would sound great a year later, and anybody who heard it, be it strangers, friends, family, would understand that this is what I intended, and it was a high quality product. So, if you're like me, and that is what you're interested in, this gives you kind of an idea about the range that you might expect to invest in that product to get it out. Certainly you could do fewer tracks. Certainly you could try doing it with a different system, but for me, I wanted as professional a product as I could get with my resources and my talent and my ability. I hope you found this helpful. Leave me a comment. I wish you the best on your journey to release music that resonates with you. And so in the meantime, cheers.